Good morning, world.
Good morning.
So we are back from Tennessee. So those of you who caught our live streams, we apologize for Cedric's drunkenness.
Oh, you're saying live screen. My drunkenness.
I'm drunk now. I wasn't drunk then. I'm not drunk now. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I wait until at least 10.
5 o'clock somewhere.
All right, we got a comment from one of you. Who do we have a comment from, Cedric?
Actually, we have 3 rapid-fire comments, and this is from Elaine Lehuya 3609, 2 days ago, said, Samson, sincerely a taxpayer. The second one comes from our 6 Cents video from Peregrino14, who says, hey guys, what about a review of the new video of Samson? And last but not least, one of our live streams headed to Tennessee videos. Linus Blindness, I think we've had Linus Blindness before. Linus Blindness says, Samson just dropped a new one. Samson, sincerely a taxpayer, if you want to hear more truth. Well, you 3 and many others, today we're going to do Samson, a taxpayer, sincerely. A taxpayer. Stay tuned. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian. All right, guys, thank you for the comments, and thank you for those who keep sending us donations right here on Venmo. And again, Cash App is in the description. Did you have a good time in Tennessee?
Had a great time. Yeah. It's fun.
We did some, if you look here, we did a little bit of kayaking. Cedric called that WPS. For those of you who know, you know.
Check out the Tom McDonald video. Certain things we just don't do.
He made it.
I made it.
We made him wear a life preserver, though.
Except for the snake that slid between both of our boats.
But, you know.
That was a little eerie.
Tennessee.
Okay.
All right, so thank you again for the donations and the comments. Keep them coming, and we will keep feeding the songs to you that you request.
Right.
All right?
Let's get into it.
Ready? Okay. I got
Samson, Samson, sincerely a taxpayer.
If we're a little rough, it's because we literally just got in. I got in last night. Cedric was nice enough to pick me up. All right, you ready? Let's see.
I only picked you up because your wife was with you. It was you by yourself.
Anyway.
I would have had you figure it out.
All right, Samson, a taxpayer. Yes, I will stop.
Tickling the ivories.
I'm hurting. I can feel my money draining. They take everything I make and you wonder why I'm complaining. I break my neck to make this money, then they just come and take it from me. My wages ain't that great in the first place. I should be paying you nothing, but they keep on coming and they keep on taking. These motherfuckers go ham on me every time I bring them the bacon. And I wonder what it's for. Ukraine, great funding a war. Have we spent enough yet? Should I guess not? Look, here they come for some more. Fuck me, I'm sore. Sucks being poor. You had the same job for the last 6 years, wasn't struggling before. Back when Trump was in office, fuck all the junk that they called him. I never saw any of the shit that people always said he was in the comments. All of it was nonsense. I ain't even trying to ride him either. I'm just saying you gotta admit that shit was fine when he was the leader. It was fine when he was in charge. I never saw bills as high as they are. I never got chills just literally thinking about filling up my car. It shouldn't be.
Oh, she stopped right at the right point.
Because we made a comment on one of our Joyner Lucas videos, and we said that Trump did more for the black community than Obama did. And people could come back and say, how can you say that? But it wasn't that Trump did more just for the black community. He did more for all communities. If you look at wages and unemployment, everything was better under Trump.
Absolutely.
So
I
again,
can't dispute that.
Again, I'm not saying, this is our rift here is I'm not leaning Trump for this one, even though I voted for him, obviously, the last 2 times. I want somebody that can beat Biden. And if that's Trump, great. I mean, obviously, I'm going to vote for him. Yeah. But you can't take away the past. Trump did a really good job last time, even though the media was 100% against him.
Absolutely.
So,
I like to play on words. I got to say a few things.
Yeah, no, I'm just backing it up there.
I like to play on words. He said he's going ham. You know what the acronym is for that, right? Mm-mm. And they're taking all the bacon. He's going ham. As hard as a beep. So ham and bacon.
Got it.
And he talked about filling up his car. And again, as we alluded to in our intro, we were in Tennessee, and I almost crashed because I saw gas was, what, $3.49?
$3.29. $3.29. And it's $6 something here right now.
Next day I got here, filled out the car, it was like $6 a gallon because the rental car we had.
It felt so nice. I filled it up
twice.
It was $32 to fill the whole thing up, and it was an SUV. Here, that would have cost us,
60?
twice at least. Yeah.
Oh, incredible.
Okay, and that's not just national stuff. That's because California adds all of their taxes.
I never saw bills as high as they are. I never got chills just literally thinking about filling up my car. It shouldn't be that way. I don't care about Russia or Ukraine, but I do care about my own country. Is that insane? I care a lot about all the tons of money that we're paying because it's mine, not yours, and I'm the one that feels the pain. I get taxed on my fucking ass for every dime I make. It'd be fine if they would spend my money wisely, but no way. It'd be great if they would take it and pay for important shit that benefited you and me and not just wage wars with it. And where the fuck are all the liberals? I thought you stood against this shit. I thought the war machine was your enemy. Now you're friends with it? Now you want to go to war? Now you want to fight? Now you want to pick sides in a feud where everyone is white? Now you want to get involved and go and blow a person up? I'm just saying, I'm surprised this altercation ain't diverse enough. No one deserves this stuff. I just don't believe the tears you weep. Countries with brown people get bombed every day. I don't hear a peep, you fucking hypocrites. Thought the race thing was your shtick. I thought as long as white people were involved, you don't give a shit. Those are your words, not mine. I'm just wondering why. Why do we have endless money for them and none for Hawaii? Why is it every time Zelensky needs a loan?
Did you get that? It sounded like he said for but Hawaii. He said there. He said, why do you have money? Well, this is what Tulsi said. Why do you have money for the war machine over in Ukraine? But what did they say? They gave $700 per family?
Per family, not individual. Per family.
They're saying I'm getting it hard again.
Well, and everyone who's watching this, if you're a homeowner, you know what this is all about, and you're going to go through this because when you bought this house, you had to pay sales tax, and when you sell it, you're going to have to pay tax.
Oh, you got to pay so much. You got to pay capital gains on it. They only give you maybe in the rest of the country outside of L.A., New York, some of the big cities, they give families $500,000 that you don't have to. So you get that first $500,000, but if you make more than that on a house, and in California, the prices have gone up. I got to pay now tax on the way out. Not only that, but then now California's trying to also tax you. They're trying to say that you have to pay a tax, exit tax now.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Yes. And not to get too, I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
The history of taxes, and I forgot, I think it was Chris Rock that said it.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be federal tax forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long time ago, and young people were watching, there was a time when we actually paid our taxes. We would write out a check and pay our taxes, and the government said, well, some of you are kind of skimping out on that. So now we're going to help you. We're just going to extract that from your check before you even see it, and then we'll give you what's left over.
Yeah. Yep. And the point I was making is I think the federal tax was supposed to be a temporary tax. And, of course, whenever you give the government a little bit, they're not going to give it back. It just keeps piling up.
But we're involved, you don't give a shit. Those are your words, not mine. I'm just wondering why. Why do we have endless money for them and none for Hawaii? Why is it every time Zelensky needs a loan from someone, we're the only ones that give it to him like we owe him something? We got issues of our own here at home that no one's discussing, and they keep growing cause no one in power is gonna do nothing. We're stuck. How the fuck we gonna help somebody else when we can't even reach inside our own pockets to help ourselves? We could allocate that money to our own people in different ways, to clothe and feed and bathe and let them know it'll be okay. We could definitely do that. Don't tell me it's not that simple. People overcomplicate this and make it some fucking riddle like can't just feed everyone. Are you insane? You know how much that costs? Way less than we've sent to Ukraine. I know that for sure. You don't have to be a mathematician or a foreign relations expert to figure out that division. You don't have to draw a graph to see it would cost a fraction to solve half of the problems we have and stop them from happening. I'm just saying, what kind of fucking world we living in? So many billions we've given them. When's Europe chipping in? When we gonna start splitting and stirring up the dividends and begin telling other nations it's your turn to lend a hand? Listen, I don't think Ukraine deserves any of this, but I also don't think Zelensky is as great as they said he is. I don't believe the media when they blurt shit on their shows. You'd have to be naive to think this dude's as pure as driven snow. No one is, especially when you run a nation, dog. Your morals are compromised the minute that you take the job. So I don't trust Zelensky, Putin, Biden, or anyone. I don't think any of them give a fuck about all us little ones. All the people of Russia, all the people of Ukraine, most of the people of the USA probably feel the same. We don't want this shit, it's only the elites that do do. They line their pockets, they profit from this, but not from me and you. Quite the contrary, in fact, we pay for it with our lives and money. They take chunks of everything we make, you soldiers die for nothing, so they can gain some more power and keep their banks fat, and all we get is table scraps. Fuck yeah, it makes me mad. Fuck yeah, I get upset. We're constantly ignored.
Woo, look at that face right there.
Yeah, he's upset.
He's passionate.
Yeah, we keep funding. We're funding Ukraine. We're funding all these other places. What other country taxes their citizens to send money to us?
Nobody sends money to us because we've got the money.
Where is it?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And we got to keep the war machine going because that's a profit department right there. So we just keep pouring things in the war, and we have young men and women just dying for no reason with taxes that we keep funding the war with.
Yep.
And I've said this once, I've said it 100 times. It is impossible. It is impossible to tax a nation into prosperity. Yeah. You can't do it.
I know.
Make you soldiers die for nothing, so they can gain some more power and keep their banks fat, and all we get is table scraps. Fuck yeah, it makes me mad. Fuck yeah, I get upset. We're constantly ignored. Why the fuck I gotta pay for this? I don't want this war. How the Pentagon have $6 billion unaccounted for, but when I do my taxes, I'm afraid to be $1 short. I'm afraid I'll go to jail. I'm afraid I'll do some time if I don't pay you back the money that you wasted. That was mine. I can't keep quiet anymore. It's impossible to shut up. I'm sick and tired of being responsible for all your fuck-ups, but the question is, what we gonna do about it? There's never a plan of action. All we seem to do is shout it, and I'm guilty of it too. Always bitching and complaining, never walking, always talking, always lipping off and saying I'ma do shit, but I don't. And to be honest with you, that's the reason I don't make a lot of songs, and that's the truth. I'm sick of bumping my gums. I'm tired of flapping my jibs. Something needs to be done, and I don't know if rapping is it. We need a real solution, but we need to get together first, because unless we're all in this as a whole, it'll never work. However, what do I know? I'm just a moron with a pen, but there's power in numbers, and there's more of us than them.
The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice.
George Carlin.
Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on, continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all, at all, at all.
Classic George Carlin.
Bio to help support. That's what we do with our Venmo.
Yep. And Dennis Prager, he always asks, people ask him that, what can we do? And he says, what you can do if you don't feel you can do it yourself is you help those that are trying.
Right.
So those that are spreading the message, like a Samson, even though he says, maybe flapping my gums doesn't do anything, it does, because more people become aware of this type of thing. So if you can't do it yourself, if you're not an artist and you don't want to do that, then support the artists that agree with you.
Yeah.
Support channels like us.
Right. That was a little disheartening to me, that last part. But before that, you talked about the $6 billion. That's, where did that go? But whenever we do our personal taxes through TurboTax or whatever you use or do it yourself, you're afraid you're like $30, $40 off. You're petrified.
Well, not only are you afraid to write something off that you're not sure you can write it off, because as a business owner, and you get scared because the last thing you want to do is
get that audit.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, and that's one of the reasons I'm getting out of California. California, on top of the 25% or whatever that the federal company take, 15 to 25 to, if you're rich, then obviously 40%. California throws on another 15% or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And Tennessee doesn't have that. And because if you live in California, you know what you're funding? So he's talking about funding the war, but we're funding illegals, illegal people that cross the border illegally. And again, I hate how the left does this. They talk about the immigrants. We're not talking about immigrants, because legal immigrants we're all for. Obviously, you need to control it, but we have so many illegals, so they're already breaking the law. And our taxpayers, now I think I just saw that California's going to pass something that now we're going to be insuring them.
Yes.
So I got, my insurance rate is tripled since COVID? Mm-hmm. And now my tax dollars have to go and pay for people who broke the law?
Absolutely.
I mean, talk about pissed off. I mean, I can't remember where he's from. I know he's from the South. I don't know what state he's in. If he's in Tennessee, he's not getting state tax. But if he's not there or Florida, then he's getting state tax too. And you see the states blowing the money just like the federal government blows the money, and it's so frustrating when he's, like you said, he's working for all that money, and then they come in and they take half of it.
Yeah. Well, it's sad, especially on like look at a macroeconomic level and you look at microeconomics. You look at microeconomics, you look at a household like, yours and mine, and you try and budget for groceries and for entertainment and for clothing. And a lot of people on that level, on this lower level, we blow it. You shoot your budget, but you would expect more from our government. But again, I guess it's just macroeconomics where they do the same thing that we do on a small level inside our households.
And why is Biden, I know they're looking into this, why does a guy who's only supposed to be, he was a senator, vice president, he's supposed to work for the people, he's only supposed to get a paycheck of like $200-something thousand a year, yet he's got all these multi-million-dollar houses? How does that happen? Nancy Pelosi in California, same thing. These people are rich. Now, Nancy, we know she does insider trading that she won't admit to. Yeah. But all these others are just getting bags of money from other countries. Hunter Biden, anybody?
Yeah. And we've seen this before. People, and again, like Brian said, it's not a pro-Trump push. We're just saying things were better under the Trump administration.
But Trump actually was a capitalist and he made money on real estate.
Exactly.
It wasn't off of our tax
And I told people, I said, I wasn't concerned about a billionaire who decided to become a government employee. I'm concerned about the government employees who become millionaires and billionaires.
Yeah,
it's like,
Trump,
how does that happen?
And Trump actually didn't even take a paycheck. He gave his paycheck away.
But I was going to say earlier, and then we'll wrap up here. Samson, if you're watching this and you want to reach out to Samson, that last 30, 45 seconds, almost like he was losing hope. He's like, why am I doing this?
And I think that's what's happening. I just watched a PragerU video, if you haven't, where they brought up that since the beginning of World War II, we have the highest suicide rate, especially between 25 and 40-year-olds, I think it is. And the experts said, oh, that's because more people are depressed. So it's more circular arguments. Of course they're depressed. That's why they're committing suicide. It's not the happy people. And then they said it's also lack of professionals, like not enough psychologists. That's why people are committing suicide. Yeah. And the last one was more guns out there. Right. So that's your experts. When he said the thing is loneliness and lack of purpose, that makes more sense. People are lonely because kids spend their time now just on a phone by themselves, and they don't have purpose because, as we know, higher purpose is going away in this country because people aren't religious anymore. The vast majority of people aren't religious like they used to be. And so people don't have this higher purpose. So loneliness and higher purpose is the reason. And people are losing faith because God and country was one of the things. So now you've lost God and country because
country, family, then
people
work.
are taught in schools, don't like your country. Then you're a racist bigot, and you're like a Trump supporter. America first. Oh, that's stupid to like your country first, and then don't like God, obviously, because the secularists think that people that believe in God are stupid. So now you have these people growing up with neither of those things.
Right.
Sorry,
are we getting
I
off?
had to rant a little. I know, but
are we getting off?
He brought it to me, man.
Samson, don't lose hope. Oh. People like Samson, Tom McDonald, Dax, Oliver Anthony, and the list goes on and on. People are out there just fighting the battle. When me and Brian started this little YouTube channel, we didn't know what we were doing, but now that I have a grandson who was born in July, he can look at these channels, and when he wonders, hey, what was Grandpa about? What did he fight for? Me and Brian are way too old to enlist in anybody's war. I think we pulled a muscle kayaking.
That's like I gotta talk to Colin, tell him to move out to Tennessee, where he doesn't pay state income tax, and he won't raise his kids in this California school system.
Yeah, well, down here and down in Temecula, some of the schools, they have that thing where it's like if your child decides to transgender, then you can't tell the parents. We're getting off topic. Okay, the taxes. Why did you guys recommend this?
Before we go, I wrote this down because he did mention the war, but then I guess I mentioned it quickly. Also at the border, we're spending money, so much money, because the left is letting all the illegals in, and that has to be paid for, and that's our tax dollars, because they refuse to make people go through the proper channels to get in this country.
Remember, the wall isn't telling people to stay out. The wall is simply saying, use the damn front door.
That's right.
That's all the wall is there for.
I could go on and on, but...
No, we have to get into our old stuff. Anyway, make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell, and share our channel. But more importantly, guys like Samson, help a brother out. Share that video, download it on Spotify, whatever streaming service you use, and help him out so he doesn't lose hope and he can keep fighting the fight, because that's his gun. That's his AK-47, is his rapping and his pen to get the word out there. Back from Tennessee. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
I'm Brian. We'll see you later.